So the fine folks over at Huion were generous enough to send me a Kamvas Pro 16 2.5K for review, and I thought I'd quickly run you through a little bit about my experience with it. Now, this actually isn't the first time Huion has sent me one of their tablets before. I was lucky enough to be sent the Huion Kamvas 22 Plus earlier this year for review, and I absolutely loved that thing. Now, I mentioned that to say that this isn't my first time with a Huion product, so I had some idea of what to expect. And my experience with the Kamvas Pro 16, similarly enough to the last time Huion sent me a tablet, was great. Like, this is as good an experience I could hope for with a drawing tablet like this because everything just works right out of the box. The setup process is all of like 10 minutes, and I'm just drawing as soon as I turn it on. And so, as someone who isn't very computer savvy, that was just a very convenient experience. And so, here are just a few things that I really liked about the Kamvas Pro 16 2.5K. So the first thing that I really liked with the Kamvas Pro 16 is just the size of it. The screen is 15.8 inches diagonally, so for me personally, it isn't too big for my desk, and certainly isn't too small considering that I usually draw on an iPad Pro, which is 13 inches, I think, all across comparatively. And with the screen, the resolution of it, like its name suggests, is a 2.5K resolution, or 2560 by 1440 to be exact. So because of the resolution, the screen doesn't actually cover the entire panel from corner to corner. You can see this is the end of like what's visible, and this is the actual corner of the panel, so it's not actually the entire screen. But nonetheless, it is still plenty of real estate that you're working with, and I found it to be pretty comfortable personally. Plus, with the screen itself, the picture that you're looking at has a very nice image quality, in my opinion. It has a nice sharpness to everything, and certainly a step up from the 22 Plus that I reviewed for Huion previously, which was just, I think the max resolution of that is like 1080p. Now, the actual experience drawing on this tablet is, in my opinion, even better than the Kamvas 22 Plus, simply because the screen on the 16 Pro is fully laminated, which gives it this nice like toothy texture on the screen itself. And to be clear, the 22 Plus I think also had this, but it feels even more so the case with the 16 Pro, and it just feels so good to run the stylus across the screen. It's just a pleasant sensory experience, the act of drawing on this screen. And speaking of the stylus, it is a battery-free stylus, which means that you never have to charge it, which is always nice. And whenever it makes contact with the screen, it always just works. And I never really had a problem with it in my time using it in that respect. And it's also fairly light, which some people may feel like it could come off as cheap feeling. But personally, I draw for hours at a time. And so the lighter the stylus, the better. And this feels great to hold in my hand for long periods of time. And also with the 8,000 levels of pressure sensitivity that this stylus professes to have, the pressure sensitivity of the stylus just feels very natural, and as far as how dark the marks I'm making are, the lighter or harder I press on the screen, and the accuracy of the stylus also feels really nice. It just felt like wherever the tip of the stylus made contact with the screen is where the mark I'm making comes out most of the time. So the parallax effect wasn't as bothersome to me personally. I never felt like my workflow was being hindered in that respect. The only thing that I'd probably say was bothersome with this tablet isn't even Huion's fault necessarily. It's just that the cables for this tablet, for my personal setup, was a bit cumbersome, only because the laptop that it's connected to had to be behind me while using this tablet, because the cables simply weren't long enough to reach my power outlet, which is also behind me. And so the cable situation was a bit awkward every time I used it, which again isn't Huion's fault, it's just because of my own setup. But other than that, all in all, drawing on the Kamvas Pro 16 was quite the pleasant experience. I think it sits right on the fence of being a high-end drawing tablet and being like an entry-level tablet to someone who's never owned a digital drawing tablet before. If I wasn't sent this for review and just bought it as is, I wouldn't feel gypped for the price of this tablet. I think this thing is powerful enough and functions well enough to last you a very long time. So Huion, the Kamvas 22 Plus was a thumbs up for me, and now with the Kamvas 16 Pro 2.5K, it also receives a thumbs up from me. You guys are 2 for 2 now with your drawing tablets. And if you'd ask me if I recommend this tablet, then the answer, of course, would be yes. I think this tablet would certainly be money well spent. So that's going to do it for this little mini review on the Huion Kamvas Pro 16 2.5K. And if you're interested in this product, I'll have a link to it in the description so you can check it out for yourself. And I want to give a big thank you to the folks over at Huion, of course, for sending me this tablet for review. It's great, man. This thing is just a good time. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you again as soon as I can.